is Lee Martinez, and I am the CTO at Embedded. We here at Embedded are aiming to create a comfortable, non-invasive solution for elderly patient monitoring using wireless RFID technology. A recent study shows that there are over 3 million beds in nursing homes across the United States. The CDC reports that 50 to 70% of these patients suffer from falls each year. Aside from the falls, another issue is the formation of bed sores on these elderly patients. Unfortunately, the monitoring equipment used to prevent falls and bed sores is known to be uncomfortable and invasive to the patient. That is why we Embedded are creating or developing this fitted bed sheets that contain our wireless RFID tags that will allow the caretakers to monitor the patients in a comfortable and non-invasive way.
Our product will be able to alert the caretakers whenever the patient has left the bed, whenever the caretaker is not in the room with them. Aside from that, as you can see in the diagram above, our product will be able to sense when the patient is laying in the bed and show the caretaker the positioning of the patient's body on the bed and which RFID tags have been covered and for how long they have been covered. Not only are we allowing the caretakers to have an extra eye on the patient when they're not in the room with them, but you're also able to see which body parts are the most prone to bed sore formation. Our target market is known as the geriatric care market, a $224 billion market composed of 5 main customer segments. Embedded is able to target 3 of these customer segments, which would be the skilled nursing facilities, the assisted living facilities, and eventually the home health care sector. By doing this, we're able to target 72% of this market and allow us to reach a big customer base. Some of our common competitors that we see today are bedside cameras, which is frequently used in the home health care setting. But as we know, bedside cameras can make the patients feel uncomfortable, even in their own bed, and they're only effective if the caretaker is watching them 24/7, which we know is impossible. Bed alarms are frequently used in nursing homes, which work by having a clip attached to the patient's nightgown, and when they get out of the bed, it unclips and it sounds an alarm. But after speaking to nursing homes here in the Valley, we have learned that a common complaint is that these alarms are very loud, and they scare all the other patients, and there's a lot of false alarms associated with them. Finally, there are pressure relief pads that can be used to help either prevent or alleviate the pain from a bed sore, but they don't give you an accurate estimate as to which body parts are prone to them, like our product will. Embedded is looking at around $500,000 in startup costs in order for us to go to market by 2024. We will be obtaining this through various grants, such as SBIR grants, which can award up to $250,000, which this funding is also non-dilutable funding, which will be very attractive to our future investors. And finally, pitch competitions such as this one will allow us to get funding to make fast progress towards our goals. The $5,000 from this competition will be used so we can file our provisional patent license, as well as begin developing our phase 1 prototype this summer.
Our main sales channels will be medical supply distributors such as McKesson and direct sales, which will be done in the early stages. How we plan to market our product is through medical technology conferences, social media advertisements, and direct referrals, which will also be done in the early stages.
We are not expecting to make any profit during our first 2 years because we will be focused on developing our initial prototype and software and performing the required tests. By 2024, we plan to go to market and sell to 5 nursing homes here in the Rio Grande Valley, which will generate $132,000 in profit. By 2025, we plan to expand those numbers to 20 nursing homes here in the Rio Grande Valley, generating $1.4 million in revenue, which will give us $528,000 in profit. Our milestones for this upcoming summer include developing our initial phase 1 prototype and software, as well as completing the expansion of our initial team. Finally, by the end of the year, we would like to begin developing our phase 2 prototype and filing for our Class 2 medical license with the FDA. This will allow us to test that phase 2 prototype in 2023 at a nursing home, so we can see how our product handles the environment it was meant to be used in. Finally, we would like to thank all of our mentors and for guiding us along this journey, helping us prepare for today's pitch competition, and we would like to thank our partners for all of their help at Expanding Frontiers and at NASA. Thank you.
So now we have 5 minutes of Q&A from our judges.
Good. With these type of sensors, right, they've been around for quite some time now.
Yes.
Are they any other products similar to this, or anybody else using RFID in the nursing home setting?
So our research has shown that there isn't any competitors using RFID for patient monitoring like we are. There have been some universities that have done tests which compose of putting RFID sensors in a pillow, having the patient lay on a pillow and just showing on a screen, it goes from white to red once it detects something. But that's the only thing we've found, but we haven't found anything else in terms of companies doing this.
So can you, for me, can you explain the RFID process and how it works? Or do we see it already existing in similar products? So I
Yes.
can have a better idea?
So actually, we see RFID pretty much every day. So has anyone ever used a debit card and just, instead of swiping it, you just tap it on
Yeah.
that's using RFID technology. And so the way this would work here, so because the human body is composed of water, or mainly of water, when you lay on top of the RFID tag, when it's communicating with the receiving antenna, it's going to have a lot of trouble passing that signal through. So essentially, when the patient lays on the bed sheet, you're going to have this void, which is kind of communicated right with this drawing here. But that would be the patient laying there, and those tags in red are the tags that can't communicate with the receiving antenna. So when you're looking at it, you say, well, they're not communicating, but that itself is data as well, because now you have this void that's in the shape of the person's body. So now you can start looking at that data, say, oh, I can see how they're laying down in the bed. And you can also program your software to say, these tags have been covered the longest. We haven't had a reading from tag 2 in an hour and a half. So that area of the body might be prone to bed sores. We can check them there. And so that's how that would work.
Thank you.
So do you have an estimate of how much something like this would cost?
Yes. So for the basic prototype itself, we were estimating around $1,500. The most expensive part of this is the RFID reader. That's what gets connected to the antenna. But when you're looking at selling one of these packages to a nursing home, so our numbers here are assuming that we are selling to a nursing home that has 100 beds, 100 patients, and that's just the estimate number we got from speaking to nursing homes here. One of these packages for a nursing home will cost $60,000 for them, and the reason for that is not only because the equipment is new and is a little expensive, but we are selling a product that not only helps you monitor your patients, but there is risk mitigation here. If a patient at a nursing home gets a stage 4 bed sore, which is the worst kind of bed sore you can get, leads to paralysis of that limb, you're facing a $5 million lawsuit as a nursing home. That essentially renders your business out of business. So not only are we selling a product that allows you to monitor, but we are preventing that nursing home from facing these lawsuits.
My other question is this in the form of a sheet, or is it gonna be like, because I'm not real clear on the prototype, or is it gonna be a film, or how do you, what's it gonna look like, or what's it gonna be like?
Yes, it's a fitted bed sheet that goes over the mattress, and the RFID tags are very, very thin.
Right.
And so you essentially just insert them into the bed sheet. You find a way to set
Oh,
them
so it'll
in
be
there.
between the bed sheet?
Yes, and
Okay,
then you
wasn't
just
real
lay on
clear.
it.
I mean, I know you said bed sheet, but I wasn't like really clear
In
on.
between the fabric.
The fabric,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time
With
for
regards
one more.
to your customer discovery, how many nursing homes have you spoken to, and with regards to this research?
Yes. So we have spoken to about 20 nursing homes here in the Rio Grande Valley, and that was just for the nursing home segment. We also mentioned we do want to, in the future, target the household sector. So at the start of the year and at the end of last year as well, we also sent out surveys on social media and got the opinions of people that we knew, and then had shared it on the ETRGV students page as well, and to get the opinion from the household sector as well. And so from there, we got about 50 responses in total from the surveys we sent in regards to the households. And then, yeah, with the nursing homes, we got about 20 nursing homes to talk to.
I guess I'll do one more before we finish up. So I think the bed sheet is part of the solution, right? Because then
Yes.
it's all the coding and the software
Yes.
behind it that's gonna tell you what type of movements equals what, right?
Yes.
So how are you gonna distinguish between tossing and turning? So I think there's that component still. Have you all looked into that yet, or is that kind of a second phase of getting all that data to be able to signal, right? That's the ultimate goal, is you're trying to provide that signal to the caretaker, says, hey, someone's about to fall down, or they've been in this spot
Yeah,
too
rotate
long.
or something.
They need to be rotated.
Yeah, so that would be more oriented towards our phase 2 prototype. The phase 1 prototype is going to be something simple as, can it detect that, someone's sitting on it? Yes, okay, now we can start tweaking the software. This summer, we are looking to get more software developers on our team. That way we can start writing up the code and then moving forward with that. But yes, that is one of the biggest things that we are working on right now, to distinguish that and get those movement patterns figured out. That way we don't have false alarms, and we can get accurate readings to monitor the patients.
Thank you.
Thank you.